Our next speaker is Scott Rupert. He is a patriot, not a politician. He is an ordinary American trying to make a difference. He is a truck driver, a husband, and a father. Please welcome independent candidate for the United States Senate, Scott Rupert.
Well, he left out high school dropout. But I think that is a pretty important fact, because what I'm trying to do is open a door to us so that we can get back into the system that's ruling us rather than allowing us to govern ourselves. Those of you standing back there protesting, I really am glad you're here, because it's going to be a lot easier for me to reach these people than it is to reach you. And if you're not here, I'll never reach you. I'm glad you're here. I don't care how much money healthcare takes away from me. I care how much liberty it takes from all of us. The issue isn't really money. The issue is liberty. Because while it sounds like a good idea, eventually the money's going to run out. And when the money runs out, they're going to have to tell us what kind of healthcare we can have and how we have to behave to get it. We can't let that happen. All that having been said, that didn't have anything to do with my speech, but now I'll get to it. I would like to also point out I've been to a lot of different rallies this week. I was at the Tea Party Express in Cleveland on the 11th. I was at the Dayton Tea Party on the 13th. I was at the Tea Party in Columbus on the 15th, and here I am today, finally getting to speak. This is my first speech. This is my coming out party. I am one to give credit where credit is due, and I have to give credit to Barack Obama for one thing. He is an amazing community organizer. He has us organized from one side of the country to the other, in small towns and in big towns. We are organized and we are motivated. And I gotta give him credit for that. Right now, 99% of you are asking yourself, who in the world is Scott Rupert? I hope over the next few months I can answer that question in a way that'll make you ask yourself, who are all the rest of these candidates? I'm an ordinary man with an idea, several ideas actually. Ideas that can set the United States of America back on a path to prosperity. Ideas that require less government, not more. Ideas that free Americans to pursue their own self-interest in an environment of safety. Ideas grounded in the best ideas a government has ever had. Our United States Constitution. All of you have a cell phone. I'd like to ask you all to take out your cell phone for a moment. Those of you that aren't holding signs or anything, get out that cell phone. You don't have that cell phone because Congress passed a law requiring every American to have a communication device that allows them to talk to each other anytime they want to. You have that cell phone because it's a good idea. And good ideas sell themselves. And that phone didn't come into existence because Congress passed a law requiring that communication devices be able to fit into the pocket or into the purse. You have it because it's a good idea. And good ideas sell themselves. When Americans are free to pursue good ideas, America prospers. And all Americans are better for it. The rewards, I'm sorry, this is my first speech after all. I understand I'm kind of falling on my face here, but this is my first try. Thank you very much. When Americans are free to pursue their own self-interest, all Americans are better, because the pursuit of that interest overflows onto our neighbors. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. Give me a moment here. God, I thank you I thank you for the opportunity that you've given me, and I pray, Lord, that you will help me to speak to this crowd the way they need to hear my heart, to know what I'm after. Because freedom is at stake here, and we have to address it as such. When Americans are free to pursue good ideas, America prospers. All Americans are better for it. America became a great union because Americans were free to pursue their own self-interest. The rewards of that pursuit naturally overflowing to their neighbors. That freedom and others, though not yet lost, are very much at risk. Constitutionally, our individual liberty and states' rights are in jeopardy. Economically, the sovereignty of our union. There are a lot of reasons why we find ourselves in this precarious point in history. We can point to our legislators and complain about their violating the will of the people. We can point to our president and say he's usurping his constitutional authority as commander-in-chief. These are valid points, and they're all true. But the reason either of these complaints can be made falls right back into the laps of you and me. For too long, we the people have been choosing our leaders based on fear. We've allowed politicians to motivate us to vote to protect our ideologies at the expense of our Constitution. I'm running as an independent candidate because I believe both parties over time have led us farther and farther from our Constitution. And I don't believe the solution is to create another ideology in the form of a third party. I believe the solution is to make the two parties we have obsolete. I'm confident that this true independent can win an election because my message is the Constitution and real ideas. Go back to that cell phone for a minute. The communication companies spend millions of dollars not to convince you to buy a cell phone. They spend millions of dollars to convince you to buy their cell phone. They've spent all that money because they have to convince you that even though the product they're selling is the same, that somehow the package is better. You won't hear me tell you to vote for me simply because we agree on a problem. I'll present solutions and ask you to vote for the solution. To borrow from Thomas Paine, I offer nothing more than simple facts, plain arguments, and common sense. The last having been absent from American politics for far too long. Common sense and plain arguments are what belong on Capitol Hill. The place for intellectuals is in the State House, the place where legislators can constitutionally make laws that affect our individual lives is at the state level, not the federal level. The 10th Amendment gives sovereignty to the states and to the people. The role of a senator, regardless of how we choose him, is to represent the interests of the state. If I succeed in convincing we the people of Ohio to allow Scott Rupert to represent our state in the Senate, I intend to stand on the floor of the Senate, raise my hand and say, I represent the state of Ohio and we'd like our sovereignty back.